welcome back to another anime episode review. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Hi, everyone.
A very allergy-filled episode of the Rat's Nest, because Seattle and pollen is nothing to mess around with. We are here to talk about Mushoku Tensei, Volume 10, Chapter... Oh, wait, sorry, not Volume. Mushoku Tensei, Season 2, Episode 3. Season 2, Part 2, Episode 3. Actual episode 15, I think, if I can count correctly.
It is.
It's titled Afar. I did remember that. What did you think about this episode, Kyle?
I thought it was a good episode that reaffirmed a lot of what Mushoku Tensei, or at least it reaffirms a lot of the themes or whatever that I've taken away from Mushoku Tensei. And it's interesting because it touches on the other world, which, like most bad isekai, they just never really talk about the other world. And so having a character like Nanahoshi working so desperately hard to get home, it makes you wonder, like, who brought her here? What happened? What the stuff from, the first turning point with, like, the mass teleportation calamity
Incident.
Incident. It didn't get to answering any of those questions, but it was a good episode that reinforced friends. We can get more in detail.
No, I mean, you could say that an isekai, like, in order to be considered perfect, right, you'd have to define it as an isekai that explores the idea of being in another world to the fullest. Like, you could define it like that if you had to, I guess, If you had to define it like that.
Yeah, I could make a whole video about it.
You could even make a whole video about it titled how the prologue of Mushoku Tensei sets the stage for the perfect isekai. Link in description. You could do that, Kyle. That's crazy. Anyways, I really, really enjoyed this episode. I loved it. I love Nanahoshi. So, great to see her. I've been really looking forward to the Nanahoshi suicide arc. I will say, though, I do have a decent amount of extra context because this was it was done basically it was done the same as the light novel. I'm not going to say it was done differently, but this is the case where there was a bunch of, like, side details, kind of, like, not expanded on.
Yeah, for time's sake, I get it.
Yeah, for time's sake, because I know there were people who wanted this arc to be 2 episodes, and definitely you could do that with the light novel. But I understand time's sake, like, we have to save time in this 12-episode season because we're going through 10, 11, and 12, and we're going to need time later. We're going to need time later, and I'd rather they dedicate that episode time to that than this. And like I said, I think they did fine. Like, I don't think that without me telling you that, oh yeah, it was, like, a tiny bit rushed. Like, there are some little details that were cut. Like, I don't think you would have noticed and or cared at all.
I want to say this much, like, not that I thought it was rushed, but I mean they did introduce that really quickly, and then
Resolve it really quickly. Yeah.
Like, I could feel it, but it wasn't like time's sake. I get it, animation, whatever. You got to allot your time and resources properly. And B, I mean, it wasn't offensive. It was like, oh, she got stumped. Man, tell me if you heard this one before. Mushoku Tensei, a character getting stumped, something bad happens, and they feel like they want to kill themselves or almost attempt to. Oh, that's crazy. And then through the power of friends, they realize, oh, there is something to keep living for. And one of them maybe fixes some erectile dysfunction. The other one's named Rudeus. I don't know.
That's wild. Okay, well, let's get into talking about the episode, because I can expand on some stuff.
Yeah.
So you guide us through. Oh yeah, if you're new here, I know everything that happens in Mushoku Tensei. Kyle doesn't. So we go through this and we talk about the episodes, and I don't spoil anything, but I do occasionally make funny jokes, some of which may or may not pertain to future events or not. Depends on what you think and what you want.
Yeah. So the episode starts off pretty simple enough. Someone, I don't remember if it was important, someone delivers a letter to Rudeus, and it's from Paul. It's from that guy.
The goat himself.
Yeah, and so he's basically just, it's the catch up with Rudeus, telling the situation, how, like, well, we got a good lead on Zenith, but we don't want to bring the kids with us, so we're sending a certain someone to escort the kids back to your place. And I'm going to make the same joke I made in the episode. Basically, they send someone who likes kids.
No, specifically you said, who likes kids? I paused the video and in real life raised my hand.
Anyways,
so
put that on the back burner.
Of course.
That comes back later. But after that, I remember that it was him eating dinner with Sylphie. I don't know if anything happened in between, but it was just him eating dinner with Sylphie, and he was explaining like, oh, I got like some kid sisters and some guy who likes kids. They'll be arriving at our house. And she's like, oh, that's fine. They get to talking, and I forget how it comes up, and you can provide context, but they talk about trying to teach each other magic, where he wants to learn, or she's going to teach him healing magic, and he's going to teach her like disrupt magic, like what he used at near the beginning of the school arc.
Yeah.
So what was it again that like got them to talking about that? How did they transition the conversation?
They were just talking, and Rudy was like, "Oh, is there like anything that I can do for you, Sylphie? Is there anything you want?"
Oh yeah.
And she's like, I would like you if you could teach me that magic you used against me at the entrance ceremony.
And then that's how so that's how it gets brought up. So they go outside, they realize, oh, we can't do each other's magics because he can't really feel the vibes for incantationless healing, and she strains herself and makes a really weird noise trying to use
it's the exact sound that would play whenever someone else comes in on you watching a completely normal show.
Yeah,
I'm not going to claim Mushoku Tensei is completely normal, but yada yada.
No, it's not.
So like, a little clarification on this. Rudeus can use healing magic. He just can't use it voiceless.
He used it like early. Yeah, he used it earlier in the series. I remember that.
Specifically, there was one instance, like the one instance I remember of it, is during his fight against Orsted in Turning Point 2. Like he uses it to heal himself.
You can use
Orsted punctures his lungs so that he can't, speak. And then Orsted's like, oh, well, you can do all this. Why can't you heal yourself? Can you not heal yourself voicelessly? Can you not touch grass, little baby man, little idiot?
Just how you worded that, where it's like he punctured his lungs so he can't speak. I think that would do more than just making someone not speak.
Well, that's why he did it.
It's like the whole lungs are vital for Hotman users thing.
They sure are.
Lungs are vital, yes. But no, so that happens, and then they talk for a bit, and he's like, do you think our kids are gonna have some potential, like a lot of good potential for magic? And then she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like have a kid, because I take on more of the elf side. And Rudeus is like, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work. I will make it work.
We'll make it work. I will conceive and have the baby myself if I have to.
Heck yeah, he will.
That's what he says. So then after that, it transitions more into.
No, I can't forget the Riz scene. The scene you said where he has Riz. Sophie's like, well, if you want kids and I'm not able to give you that, you can have a concubine. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And you were like, Riz. I was like, oh yeah, the ultimate Riz. I'm not going to cheat on you. I should have thought about that.
Well, that's the scene I was talking about.
Oh, you were saying it transitioned to that? It was the same scene.
Sorry, let me rephrase. I don't remember fully what I said.
I remember fully what you said because I'm perfect.
It's so true. But yeah, so they talked about trying to teach other the magics, and then they talked about like how she was an elf and wouldn't be able to, I said that she was an elf and wouldn't be able to. The only thing I didn't mention was that like he said something really nice to her at the end, which was it was nice to see. Rudeus is a good partner until he probably maybe cheats with his cousin, whatever removed.
You mean his other two weed smoking girlfriends? Thank you very much.
Anyway, then it transitions to the big plot point for the episode, where we see Rudeus trying to help Bananahoshi with a summoning circle. And she spent like a month trying to summon an object from, their original world. She does it. It kind of goes up in flames, literally. Like a part of the paper just kind of like disintegrates away. Mana doesn't flow through it properly, and so she's just like, she looks kind of depressed, and Rudeus is like, yeah, it's, you know what? Oh well. Don't think about it too hard, and we'll try it again later. And he leaves the room, and he's like, well, man, she took that really well until she doesn't.
That's how she takes it very not well, very quickly.
She's up there contending with Rudeus for who has the best panic attack. First of all, she like is screaming, I can't go home, I can't go home. She's like breaking shit. She's like, I'll be stuck here for like, I'm never going home. I'll never be able to get back. And she's just going berserk, crazy. Whoa. I know, behelit. I know, insane. So she does all that, and she basically she passes out, and you know Rudeus is like carrying her, and Zenoba is in the hallway and is like, Rudeus, what happened? And he's like, oh, you know, should probably take her to the infirmary. They do that, and then after they get her some attention there, Rudeus decides, yeah, well, we're gonna take her back to our place and watch over her. That's a fine little pocket dagger on her. And Rudeus is like, I'm going to keep that just in case. I don't want anyone else contending with me for best suicide attempt. Best panic attack, someone can contend with me with. Best suicide attempt? No. So he takes the knife. Anything I'm missing so far?
Not really. So here I can give a little more detail. So
a little
light novel basically plays out the same. The main like quote unquote differences is like literally right after this. But yeah, she freaks out after the magic circle doesn't go. The light novel goes into a little more detail on the magic circles that aren't like super necessary.
Extra superfluous world stuff, which is fine.
I mean, it's cool world building, but like
no, it is.
Yeah, there's more important stuff later than knowing that. Okay, well, where the circle broke was where Nanahoshi had trouble finishing the connection.
Well, I mean, they said that.
She just kind of tried to brute force it. And then because she tried to brute force it, it obviously didn't work and it failed there. And then yada yada yada. There's details later that I cut, but not cut, but so like the dagger on her, like that is not for her to kill herself. Like that is a dagger for self-defense that she just has.
No, I know, but like, Rudeus, he looks very concerned. He's like, I'm gonna hold on to that just in case. Like I know
he does pat her down. He finds stuff. Okay. He's just whatever, and he's like yes, I'm going to hold on to this. He's like, because who knows what she's gonna try to do.
And this is where the episode, like, I started, I mean, I liked the episode up to this point, like it was fine, but this is where it really felt like things, like most of these episodes, things came full circle from what was set up previously, where Rudeus, I mean, we spent the beginning of season 2 seeing that Rudeus himself, he knows the pain that she's going through. Like when someone is in their lowest of depths internally and they can't pick themselves up, like it's a bad place to be in. We saw that with Rudeus. We're like, no matter what, Rudeus could not snap himself out of it. It was like he tried to kill himself. I shouldn't laugh, but like, come on, it was
a pretty good scene. It was a pretty good scene.
It was the scene. It was the scene. But like, Rudeus tried to kill himself, and he just couldn't bring himself to do what he needed and snap out of the funk. And he needed a soldat in his life, the goat, the lad, the G. And he had someone like that. And we see that, with Nanahoshi, where Nanahoshi's just like, what is it? Rudeus is trying to like talk to her and cheer her up, and be like, I can get you like some food, I can get you a bath, I can get you me. He doesn't say the last part. I lied. I'm so sorry.
That's true. That's real.
But he's trying
that's
to
not until volume 17, Kyle.
Anyway, so he makes all those offers of like, I can do stuff for you. He goes to leave the room, and she's like, she explains more. She says more, mumbo jumbo about like why it didn't work. She's like, I'm never getting out of here. I can't do it. And then Rudeus decides, yeah, it's time for the power of friendship.
All right, difference. So, there was a difference there. In the anime, it was portrayed as one night and one day had passed. In the light novel, it's a week. A week has passed.
Okay,
she stays in his house for a week. Like I do wish that he'd been like, man, she's been here for a week. That's crazy. So yeah, so she had been here for a week, like had literally not said a single word the entire time. Like Sylphie had been like bathing her, and they had been like feeding her, and he was like she was like she does eat on her own. They're like, so she's not like trying to like starve herself.
Yeah.
Like, but she's like just in a horrible like she
A
has
horrible
no,
mental downward spiral.
no
Of,
will
like, no hope.
to go on whatsoever. But she is still feeding herself. I don't have to force feed her. Oh no, that's right. She bathed herself too. She fed and bathed herself.
Damn it.
What was that about?
Huh?
What was
That's
that
great.
about, Kyle? What was that about? What was that about? What was that about? No, you're on record now. What was that on? What was that all about? That's so
anyway.
real. Yeah. So she's been there for a week, and so then
Yeah.
finally after a week she talks and she says that.
Yeah, I like that better. I like the week going by.
Yeah.
And showing more stuff of like, she's eating it, so she's not trying to starve herself or stink herself to death.
Like this point on is where the episode like speeds up in pace.
It does, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I
because
mean, like I said, I think that it's fine because we need the time elsewhere.
yeah,
but it
they-
does kind of suck
yeah,
from the light novel reader perspective.
yeah, like it's give and take with the anime. I mean, there's only so much you can like fit in an episode, and I'll take your word for that. Like stuff later. I mean, it coming from the guy who isn't even allowed to look at the comments or like the OP. I mean, I trust that. But anyway, so Rudeus decides, all right, we're gonna take it to the experts, aka the friends we made along the way. And I mean that in a nice way. I mean that in a good way. So he takes the broken, like the torn paper that she had, and brings it to all of his friends. He gets the, the smartest minds together and says, "All right, can you guys help me with this? It's something that Miss Silent's been doing, and it's a summon circle, needed to work." They're like, "Oh, we don't do summon magic." He's like, "It's okay. You guys don't need to be summon experts. Maybe some fresh eyes and different outlooks will help." And so it does, and the pacing, it goes kind of speeds up a bit. Where, shoot, I'm blanking on names.
Who were you thinking of?
The little guy, Elise's Cliff. I was gonna say Flint.
Dog.
I don't know why. I don't know. I was gonna say Flint. It's
Little
I'm tired.
Lockwood. I am tired too.
Yeah. So we see Flint, and
That is his name.
yeah, I forget what he says, but he has an idea, and he starts writing stuff down. And then, after talking for a little bit, it cuts to kind of like a montage of them all working on the magic circle that they have. Okay.
Okay. So
Without getting like big details there,
Here.
what happens is, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I can explain. So what it is they're looking over it, and in the light novel there's a little more conversation, whatever. It's fun looking at Clifford. Initially he's like yeah, he's like, that sucks. He's like, obviously that wouldn't work. Look at that connection. He's like, I would have connected it. Huh. He was like, oh.
I guess I do suck.
Ah. He's like, whoever did this was really, really smart. He's like, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. So that was a cool character mode. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get to see. Basically, Zenoba is like, well, why don't we just use layered magic circles? And he goes to the doll, and so the doll is powered by layered magic circles.
Oh yeah, they do that. Sorry.
Like that could work. And they're looking at it and they're like, whoever made this doll is an absolute genius. And yeah, so this revolutionizes Nanahoshi's thing. So they work on it a little, they devise a little whatever. And then they go and they demonstrate the concept to Nanahoshi. And then she wakes back up, basically. And she's like, that could work.
He gets hope.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like the episode, and I'm gonna say this, and don't freak out. It's where the episode kind of like peaks for me. Where
keep talking. I'm holding it back. Keep talking.
Where the episode reaches a peak. In that it's just really nice seeing, like, again, all the effort and all the, the fruits of his labor, all the setup in season 1, where it's like, when Rudeus was down, or when Rudeus needed people for, like, his wedding or whatever, or like clearing out the house, he had the boys to call on. We see that it's not all just for Rudy himself. Like, they all treat each other as like close friends, and they're willing to go to such lengths for each other, that they're willing to like drop everything on a dime and be like, oh, our friend is struggling, we're gonna help her, and we're gonna succeed, gosh darn it. And they do. It was really nice seeing them all like put the papers and line them up. She's like, oh, like you kind of see like the life return to her eyes.
That was cool. I think that they illustrated everything with Nanahoshi really, really well.
Oh, they did.
Rudeus too. Whenever he was talking with Zenoba and Julie, and they were like, you look horrible.
Oh yeah, no, they did say that, and he's like, yeah, it just brings, because Rudeus says like, I know what she's been through. He is a Naruto character. He too understands the pain.
It's true. And I will say something interesting just about the way the light novel was written itself is like, you're reading it from Rudeus' perspective, and so like he's narrating everything he's doing relatively calmly, and then you get to like with Nanahoshi having her breakdown, coming through, meeting Zenoba, and then like once you get to like the hospital room, and you have Julie be like, dude, you look horrible. Like you have, and Zenoba's like, yeah, like that is like the worst that I have ever seen you. He was like, you look legitimately like horrendous.
Like shit. Yeah.
And so like that's just an interesting thing where then Rudeus in line is like, he's like, oh, do I really? And so it's like, it's cool to see like from a reader's perspective of the light novel. Like, yeah, like there is some stuff that like we miss because it's from Rudeus' perspective. So yeah, no, he was freaking out. He was more horrified by this than he realized he was. And so that was a cool thing about how it was written. Whatever. That's just a little light novel nerd.
The anime definitely had a different effect, because it was just like he looked kind of fucked up because he was going through it mentally.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say, the anime still has, like, the same stuff. Like, he didn't realize how bad off he was.
Yeah, but it's not as much as, like, the internal panicking. I mean, it was only Julie being like, oh, you look awful, and Zenoba's like, oh my god, dude, you look like shit. And then he's like, oh. And then he explains why.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, he wasn't, like, panicking internally. It's just he didn't realize, like how he still felt like completely normal and composed, and then very, very clearly he wasn't, right?
Okay, so he just okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it was the disconnect between like his relatively calm inner thoughts and like how like visibly stressed he was.
Yeah, but then after that, the gang works with Nanahoshi, and they do a multi-paper layered, like they kind of like stack papers on top of each other. They make a big magic circle, because they work not just in like one two-dimensional plane. They stack planes together, and it lets them, like they connect those planes in weird ways, and then it's able to fuel the whole circle. So they finally get it working, and the fruit of all this labor is some guy just lost a water bottle, because they teleport a water bottle into the world, and everyone's. It was interesting seeing their like the people who live in this world's initial reactions. Like, what is this? It's kind of like like you can like scrunch it. It's not glass. What is it? And it's just a plastic water. They don't know what plastic is. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
No, I think I always think it's really cool whenever Mushoku Tensei dives into the two world aspect of it, right, with Nanahoshi and her stuff, and occasionally whenever it's brought back up with Rudeus. I think it's really interesting to see like the direct intersection between our world and this world of fantasy. Like I
and not even I was gonna say, not even for the bit of like referencing your video, it really just does make me appreciate Mushoku Tensei as an isekai even more, because it feels like a lot of isekai will just do the thing where, being isekai, it's kind of like being in the real world is it's just the springboard for the story. It doesn't really matter after that point. People just come to this world. Nothing about the other world matters. The other world sucks. They hate it, and it's just gooner bait from there and on.
Heck
so
yeah,
I really do appreciate a series like Mushoku Tensei where maybe it's not Rudeus who wants to go back. I mean, his life was awful, and the kind of like working to improve oneself, redeeming oneself, but seeing another person in a similar boat who's striving to get back, it's interesting. And
No, it's a very interesting dynamic there.
yeah. And like he wants to help her, where he's like, I want to stay here, but like you don't want to be here, and I want to learn more about the mass teleportation stuff. So I do want to help you get home. And yeah, so she summons the water bottle, and everyone's so happy. They all throw a little party, and not a party, but like they all eat lunch in like they're like a dining hall or food or whatever.
Yeah.
And Buddy Daddy was there. That made me happy.
Yeah, so this is the part where like this is like honestly my one disappointment from the episode was a Buddy Daddy cut line.
Oh, what
because
was he
so what happened? So they succeeded, right? And they were like, well, let's go out to drink, right? So Zenoba, Cliff, Ellen Elise, Julie, Rudy, Sylphie, and Nanahoshi. They were like, well, let's go out to drink. So they're going out. Like as they're going, they run into Lenny and Persena, and they're like, woohoo, yippee! Like, we're like, oh yeah, we'll join you guys. Like that sounds like fun. I like parties. I'm pretty sure Ariel and that crew joined as well in the light novel. Let me make sure. That's a little bit later. Yada yada. That's okay. That's too far. That's the Norn and Aisha get back. Dean. There's Buddy Daddy. Yeah, Lenny and Persena. Oh, okay. So yeah. So Lenny and Persena joined. Then they met Ariel, and Ariel let Sylphie go with them. That's right. That's what happened. By the time we made it out the school gate, Bodygotti had joined us at some point and was just hanging out at the very rear of our group. No, seriously, just when had he snuck in here? And then, so they go down to the pub. It was in a pub, one of Buddy Daddy's favorites. So this is Nanahoshi didn't pay that any mind. However, she went to the counter and slammed down her bag full of gold. Reserved the whole place for us, she said. And he said, huh, are you serious? Seeing the barkeep look flustered, Buddy Daddy cut in. Hold on there. Took out a bag of gold from his own pocket, slammed it down. Now there was twice the amount. It's a day of celebration. Let all who come this day enjoy their alcohol free of charge. So he just straight up paid for everyone's alcohol. Then he sat down and said, bring all the food you have on your menu. Pretty sick. And then when the first of the food was delivered, the Demon King stood and said, now then, what are we celebrating today?
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I am very disappointed that line was not in there.
Oh well.
It's so Buddy Daddy.
Booze first, food second. Actual thing to note to celebrate later.
Like, so what's going on? And then they were like, oh, well, Nanahoshi is celebration work. And he's like, oh, awesome. He's like, well, we're celebrating you. Get up and give your speech. So she stands up and says, thanks. And then everyone's like, cheers to that. Like she stands up, says thanks, sits down. I love it.
Very Buddy Daddy of him.
Get to see them party. It's fun. Good stuff.
It's a good feeling, like you just helped a friend out of a bad situation, and she's happy, and you're just celebrating it. It's just very wholesome vibes all around. Which, again, it just makes me wonder. Things have been going a little too because in season 1, Rudeus went through the worst of it. I mean, every few episodes was just like, oh god, something or another was happening to him. And now it's like, okay, he had the first half of the season where he went through a few things, like the Twitter jump scare when he first met Nanahoshi, the erectile dysfunction stuff. But now, like, toward the end of season 2 and more into now, it feels more like things are going a little too well for him. And that makes me wonder, what world-shattering magic bullshit fuckery is about to send him on the worst downward spiral that I have yet to see him go down on.
I cannot wait to see your reaction.
It's going like I can't even begin to tell you what would happen. Because okay, looking at the past 2 turning points, 1, mass teleportation, would not have predicted that. 2, worst jump scare. Anything could happen, and it's just like, okay, things are going well, a little too well. But for now, I am going to enjoy Rudeus actually enjoying life and having, light in his eyes and not feeling like he wants to kill himself.
And a wife.
And a wife and another wife and someone else that'll cheat on. That's not
just
till
3
volume
wives.
18, though.
No. That's volume 16.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're all good.
But be remiss if I didn't mention the final part of the episode where we see him walking back and we see, I don't know, some little stupid fuck-ass kid. And Aisha! It was great to see Aisha.
Dude, why would you say that about Rudeus? That's so mean. Rudeus is a grown man, not a kid.
I was just talking about Norn.
What, you don't like Norn?
I don't like a Norn.
Why?
Thank you.
Why?
I don't.
What, you're gonna hold a 3-year-old's actions against them, Kyle?
Yeah, I am.
You're gonna say that Norn is intrinsically less good of a human being because of her actions as a 3-year-old child.
I hate No right now.
You see, Kyle? See? I lied to you, actually.
You lied to me about what?
I actually lied to you.
About what?
Because Norn was 6.
Oh, that doesn't change it.
Maybe 5. Whenever Rudeus met her.
Look. It's a fictional character. I'm a very opinionated man. I'm opinionated against her. Aisha is cool. I'm happy to see Aisha again. Aisha is +1, and then there's Rudeus, and I was so happy to see Rudeus again.
Dude, I can't believe it's him, dude. Who could have thought it? Whenever Paul was like, "Yeah, we sent someone who likes kids." Like, who could it have been?
I mean, you could pick anyone in the entirety of Mushoku Tensei, and there's maybe a good argument for everyone.
Heck yeah, there is. That's what we love about it, huh? I love Rudeus. Anyways, I think that about sums it up. New ED, I think, which was weird. Like, I don't think that's the normal ED, but I liked it. It slapped. Anyways, as I was saying, any final thoughts, Kyle, before we wrap it up here?
I mean, all in all, like, the episode was good. I definitely was more enthralled by, them helping her and all, but I feel like in retrospect, this will probably be an episode that I kind of forget about, other than, the thing was broken and then they, fix it.
I mean, it's a really good episode, and I really like that they did it. There's just bigger things that happen in Mushoku Tensei, but I love this episode. I love Nanahoshi. So banana fans will remember this. And I just think it's a great example of Rudeus' character and his strengths in situations like this, and how much he's changed to not just be able to respond to something like this, but to be able to respond in the manner that he did, and how effective he was at it. I think it shows how much he's grown, how much he's changed, how much he's touched grass, and just his capabilities as a man here. I think that it's really cool to get to see all that.
I mean, you're right, and I wasn't trying to demean the episode, but I'm predicting what I might feel like in retrospect. I don't know. I mean, I like it right now, but
yeah, I mean, it's not like. I mean, it's not like a turning point,
No, it's not. The stuff that happens, it's pretty, straightforward. But it's good, straightforward content. It's nice seeing that, Rudeus is at a point in his life where not only, he doesn't just see a problem and recognize that there is a problem, he can take the steps to make the change that he wants to see and help others through, how he's bettered himself enough to be able to help better others.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good to see. So yeah, what's the next episode? Oh, the next episode's titled Aisha.
Norn and Aisha.
Yeah, Aisha. That's what I said.
Yeah, Norn and Aisha.
Yeah, Aisha and Rudeus. Dude, that's what I said.
I'm telling you, dude. You keep this up. Norn's gonna have her own suicide arc. then how will you feel? Then you'll feel pretty stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll just be Aisha.
Well, if you're this far in the episode, then obviously so you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what you thought about this episode. Thank you all for watching. We hope that you all enjoyed it. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.